Yeah, okay. So are we there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes.
So
How has your
how's the
week been?
sound? Oh, very, very good actually, very productive.
Yes.
And yeah, and topped up some paint supplies yesterday, as I mentioned in a chat. And yeah, just catching up with a couple of people as well. So very productive. What about yourself?
Oh, how fast the week has gone, isn't it?
Yes.
When did we talk? We had a live on when was
I think
it?
I think it was Monday. Was it
It was
Monday?
Monday and today is
Yes.
Friday. How time
Yes.
flies. How time
Yes.
flies.
Yeah. Well, you look well, Francis. You look well. Handsome as always.
Yeah, time flies so quickly. Before you know it, ooh, it's gone. Hi, Aspi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi,
Yeah,
SP.
she's the.
Hi.
Hi, Aspi has been the first to reach the. Oh, okay, Storm sees today. Hi, so nice to catch alive. Yes, great to see you. And Steadman, hi.
Oh,
Hi, hi.
lovely.
Thank you so much. How is our sound? Is it good?
Well, yours is good. What about mine?
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. I think we captured
Fabulous.
sound. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sound is not an issue now, is it? No
No.
chance. We are all good. Yeah. I just keep getting those little blackouts from your side, but then you get back on. I think
I
it's.
wonder if I
Mm,
try. What if I try without the? Give this a go.
okay.
Is that
Try.
better?
Yes, yes, it is.
We could
Yeah.
always try. I could always try with these. Hang on, because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can't hear you as much as.
You
What
do when you put those. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So those. Okay.
if
I think the sound is terrible with
I
those
can
ones.
now. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Oh, I tell me what you really think.
To be honest, uh, our friends in the
Because I
comments, please
wondered
tell
if I
us.
should
Okay. Okay, so you need to
stay
switch back.
still.
Yeah, switch. Okay, so let's see if these are going to be. Your sound was perfectly fine with those ones, but it's the little
Okay.
blackouts and then you're back on. I'm thinking, is it your signal or I don't know, but you tend to black out and then get back in. But anyway,
I think I'll contact my provider. I might need to
yes,
change my plan. I think that I will because you've mentioned it a few times,
yes,
and I can't do live. I can't do FaceTimes with my sister because it's always blacking out.
yeah.
So I think it might be time to change my provider.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. Or it might be an issue going on in the last few weeks because you didn't used to have this. Your signal was perfect. But
Yes.
sometimes they have days or weeks when they have some sort of upgrades going on. So it could be there is an upgrade going on and they are still working on that stability.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yeah.
You've
But
got the
great.
A team here. Look at
Yeah, the A
that.
team is here. Stedman, Storm Seaside, Aspiarin. Who else have we got? Yes, so and 11 of us on here so far. Thank you
Oh,
guys so much
nice.
joining us for this Friday night.
Legs 11.
Yes, yes, Friday night, Royal News Stories. What has been going on in the world of our Royals as we get to the weekend? Oh, welcome, welcome, Catherine. Where's your glass of water? Have you got that there? Glass of
Um, I,
wine?
I have. It's it's 9 o'clock
Ah,
in the morning here.
okay.
It's green tea. It's my
Green tea,
green tea.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very early in the morning where you are.
yeah,
So green tea does all the magic.
yeah.
Yes, our friends in the comments, Stedman, Stormzy, Aspe. I hope you guys have all got a glass of, whatever drink you have there, water, cup of tea, sit comfortably. Let us just run through these royal news stories and see what our royals have been up to recently. Hmm. Catherine, to start off with the Commonwealth Day, where the royals attended that Commonwealth service, how beautiful Catherine looked uh, on the day, and how glorious they looked stepping out for the Commonwealth Day event. Did you watch that event?
I did, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She really, she doesn't do it deliberately, but she just steals the limelight, you know. There's been some comparisons made with her in a blue suit a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years back at a Commonwealth service, and they've put it alongside the current one. And she, for someone who's come through a ravaging illness, and granted, she would have access to some of the most, um, specialized treatments.
Mm-hmm.
She's ageless. She's really, I think you could see that, like, time changes us all. That's the truth. But she's just timeless. I don't know. She seems to get better with age, Catherine.
Oh,
She's just beautiful.
she was so beautiful, as Catherine says there. I mean, Stormzy says she looked absolutely beautiful as always. She
Yes.
really did. Her natural sort of beauty, inner strength shone throughout the whole event, and how she courtesies the senior royals beautifully. She's one, but she never misses courtesy and showing respect, huge respect to those above her. And everyone, you could see how she embraces Princess Royal Anne. You see how she courtesies Queen Camilla, and you see how she humbles herself when her father-in-law King Charles
Mm.
arrives. So we see all those kisses, during the little greetings. Brilliant, brilliant, honoring the senior royals, but also how
Yeah.
she carries herself on these events with a lot of grace and compassion and beauty, and her sense of acknowledgement for people, guests around. You see her, those little waves, hellos, it's so beautiful to watch. And so we have all of these royal fans standing out of Westminster Abbey on the day, and they're waiting to see royals arrive. So they arrive in the order of their seniority, okay? So the king arrives the last, of course, when everybody else is settled. But you can sense the excitement going up when William and Catherine arrive. Everybody knows, even those that are sort of starting to, fall asleep, wherever they are standing, are then awake when William and Catherine arrives. Have they arrived? So the cameras get ready and that sort of thing. So, but it was really, really beautiful to see them attend. The message
Uh,
for the day from King Charles, of course, was compassion and unity and peace during these very trying days, the war in Ukraine, which is going on, and in all of these parts of the world, and the issues with terror and all of that stuff that have been going on around the world. In Germany the other day, so this event was to recognize that when we come together in the way that the Commonwealth brings people together, a lot of these issues are resolved. People become kind, compassionate, but also the diversity which we have everywhere in our communities these days is symbolized by this huge event and people coming together, the cultural dances and the speeches in the church. So it was really, really great an event and extremely timely with what is going on in the world today.
Yes, I agree with
Mm,
you. I like what Aspi said. The Princess of Wales, she could wear a bag and look fabulous. And I think there's something in that because coming back to what you were pointing out about her respect for everyone, her curtsies are appropriate and beautifully timed. She's obviously well practiced now at curtsying, but the way she turns herself out in this simplicity, her style is well thought out. So when you see her, there's nothing that distracts from the occasion.
mm,
That's where I'm going with this. She's very she has a beautiful sense of occasion, and it shows in the way she presents herself. And I love that. I just love
mm,
it because when she curtsies, she has this really deep curtsy. She just absolutely just goes as deep as she can.
mm,
It's not just a tiny little bob, it's just beautiful. But that kind of respect for the institution which she serves is notable. And I think that, I don't like to bring comparisons in, but you would never see that. The only time you ever saw a really, really deep curtsy, she curtsied, but that really intentional deep curtsy from Meghan was at the Queen's funeral, and it was like, oh, I'm making a point. But it's never performative with Catherine. It comes from this emotional, she's got this high level of emotional intelligence, and
mm,
she respects everyone from the little girl giving her flowers outside afterward
mm.
to entering the Abbey. Oh, she's just, I don't know, she doesn't put a foot wrong, Francis.
She mastered what they call royal protocol, and
Mm,
that comes with a lot of interest and openness and willingness to learn. Since she joined the royal family, she has been on this learning curve. Okay, she's
mm,
every day, and all the traditions of the royal family, and she knows that this is how to behave in such a situation. This is when I need to be quiet. This is what I need to do here and there. The respect and the sort of protocols and operating what do they call them, standard operating
yes,
procedures
yes.
within an institution. This is how I go about seeking support, help. She never jumps the queues like we saw Meghan Markle trying to jump the queues and wanting things to be done her own way, wanting the red carpet to be rolled out for her, and the same way that they were rolling it out for, Camilla, Catherine, Princess of Wales. Catherine will never do that. She knows her worth. She knows her levels within the royal family, and that has allowed her to do things properly. Okay,
Yes, yes. But the
she is
thing
the.
is,
Mhm.
it's almost like an art form with Catherine.
Mm,
There's a beauty in it. I can't, I'm trying to express it. It's almost like she's made like the Queen, she's learnt from the Queen, like William has as well. They've learnt at the knee of the Queen, to use an appropriate metaphor, but she's turned it into an art form. It's You want to watch her doing that as much as you want to look at what she's wearing and who gets her attention, because who
mm,
gets her attention is a really big deal as well. But
mm,
there's a real beauty and an elegance in it. And I mean, granted, she's got height. She keeps her weight down because, well, that's easy because she's so athletic. You know, she probably does reform Pilates and things like that, you know, but
mm,
it is an art form. So what I'm saying is you can't take your eyes off her. When she's in the room, that's it. Everyone else is. And I mean, William must be an extraordinary young man to be able, because we know that Charles was found it difficult in Princess Diana, the of Wales, Princess of Wales. He found it
mm,
difficult in her spotlight
mm,
because she just, you know. But with Catherine, there's humility and she's just light. You know, that's one of the things as a side issue. One of the things I like about our shows is it's more light than fire. We try to
mm,
keep a light burning. And with Catherine, I think the reason she has so many people wanting to they come against her and oppose her is because they can't stand her light. They
mm,
just
mm.
can't, they want to put her light out, but
Yeah.
you can't. The more they try to put it out, the brighter she shines. It's just I can't take my eyes off her when she's in the frame.
And this is where Meghan Markle found a big problem when she arrived,
Yes.
because she couldn't stand the fact that Catherine had already established herself as that person within the royal household that everyone
Mm.
trusts, believes in, respects, adores, young, old, all the royals within the royal household called out Catherine, Princess of Wales's name as the cornerstone, that figure that is humble and keeping, the royal family moving forward in harmony. So Meghan Markle did not like the sound of that. Clearly, we know that by her behavior and how she threw in the towel and walked away, because she doesn't like anybody there who is going to sort of be seen as the main focus or the center or more popular than she is. Um, Remember when they turned up for that Heads Together
Yes.
sort of interview? I think that they were being interviewed on a panel somewhere, and Catherine was pregnant at the time, and Meghan Markle had just arrived. So they were talking about how they are finding it working together on this Heads Together project. And when Prince Williams said that the Heads Together idea was Catherine, Princess of Wales's idea, okay, you could see Meghan Markle's face drop,
Oh, I
because
know. There are
at
a lot
that
of red
point,
flags in that footage.
yes, exactly. That's the point she actually, recognized how Catherine was very powerful, and how, you know, Prince William recognized Catherine as the brain behind this organization, which was, tackling mental health. And Prince William was right, very right, because this was Catherine, Princess of Wales, at her best. Compassion, everything coming together to formulate that Heads Together project, and how she brought these boys together, Prince William and Prince Harry, to sort of work together in driving the agenda was so beautiful. If you saw that advert of Heads Together, which was done William, Catherine, and Prince Harry, and they were playing jokes, laughing around. That was Catherine, Princess of Wales' idea. But she doesn't like to blow her trumpet. Catherine does things quietly. She even never does these things because she wants to get their attention. No. Hadn't Prince William said that, we would never have known that Heads Together was Catherine, Princess of Wales's idea. Okay, but this is what Meghan Markle did not like. Okay, when she arrived, she expected to be the one seen as, yes, she's the star. She's gonna be the best. And when she said, I'm gonna hit the ground running, it was more like whatever they have done is useless. She is the one going to instigate change and, make that difference. Well, she didn't hit that ground hard enough, did she?
That's such a good way to put it, Francis. I love these little gems that you come out with. She didn't hit the ground hard enough.
Hard enough. No.
Well, I know.
Okay.
She's an absolute, she's
Yeah.
destroyed her own reputation because I think part of the reason her face dropped is because we all know she's got a crush on William, and William was, in her sights, that she heard him praising his wife, and she would like to hear William do that about her, right?
Mm,
But also, um, I blame Harry for this because Harry knows the institution in which he was born. He
mm,
knows the pecking order. He knows the way things work in the royal family. And yet he insisted on marrying within 5 minutes of them
mm,
getting together,
mm.
getting married. She was a really unsuitable bride because the die was cast. Catherine is going to be the future. She's a future queen, and the queen was alive then.
Mm,
So, we had uh, the Prince of Wales in between William and Catherine, the Prince of Wales and Camilla. So Harry is to blame for this.
mm.
And if he'd have married, could you imagine if he had married someone more suitable, what a difference it would make to the royal family
Oh,
today.
oh my God, this would have made a massive difference, because we can see how, of course, William and Catherine and the royals are taking on so much work, so many patronages, and there is a lot to do for the very few senior royals that are trusted right now by the institution to do the work. So definitely, if there were some young royals, like Harry himself is there, and had got himself a wife who was reasonable, who was very supportive. Can you imagine a difference they would have made, uh, playing their role in supporting these activities of the royal family? Okay. But of course, Harry doesn't do himself any good. He gets this person in, and he's just turned against his own family, and they pull him out. He goes. Since then, you look at what they are doing, you don't see any sense of direction. They don't have a plan. Here we have Meghan Markle, who is advertising, um, coming up with Azeva, but we don't know what Azeva is all about. Actual Foundation, I'm even confused what Actual Foundation does. Okay, so we know the Invictus Games, those happen once in a year, and after that, what is Prince Harry's role? I don't see it. Okay, so he's a chief impact officer at Better Up, this organization in US. But what does he do in that role? We don't see any updates of what he has achieved as a chief impact officer for that organization. So there is no any real genuine sense of direction for these ever since they left the royal family. But how sad that these two people who would have uh, made a difference, would have used the machineries within the royal household, the resources, to make a real, genuine impact in the communities out there. Okay, but clearly this wasn't Meghan Markle's mission, and she comes in my way of looking at it, I think she just wanted to get this midnight fame like she did. She's married a prince, and then get that title, go away, and then she would then look at using it to make loads and loads of money because that's what she wanted, very money centered. She hasn't achieved that yet, and I don't think she will be achieving it anytime soon because of the record that is held up against her for all of those things they have done so far against the royal family. Okay, but
Well, you
this is.
see the difference between William and Catherine
Mm,
and Harry and Meghan is William and Catherine have established a track record.
mm,
They've been steady as she goes. They've applied themselves to projects. They've stayed with it. They've William has slowly stepped up. I know he gets accused of being lazy, but I don't see it that way. I think there's a reticence with William in terms of stepping up.
mm,
I think he is reticent. It's not something he's in a hurry to do.
mm,
Um, because I think people mistake his commitment to his family for laziness. Well,
mm.
you don't think he's got his laptop and his iPhone and all of his technology with him when he's away, on holidays, and that he doesn't have his staff communicating with him. I mean, I think that's unfair.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then you look at, so you've got Catherine and William. They've steady as she goes. They've learnt their craft as royal, serving royals. They've worked on their personal relationship. They are very protective of their family, which I think is commendable. And then
Mm,
you've got this other couple over here. To come back to what you were saying, can you imagine what it would have been like? Because look at, to make my point, look at Sophie. She's a rising star.
mm,
And you would have had that with Meghan. She could have been a rising star in the royal family because
mm.
Sophie has carved out a niche for herself and she's tackling some difficult subjects, and people admire her for it.
Mm.
Well, that's what Meghan didn't want to do. Meghan didn't want to look around, and she didn't want to look and see where can I be effective? Where can
Yes.
I be effective? She didn't want to
Mm.
do that. And I'm glad you brought up about that footage with them together at the heads together, because she kept sneering at Catherine. Her face went dark, and you could see she was not a happy camper.
It was
She looked like the quintessential mean girl. I'm going to get you later for that. That was the look on her face.
yes.
It was really nasty, and you don't ever see a mask drop from Catherine, and all you see is from Catherine just a continued application to her role. She is an amazing wife. It's not, she's raising, you said it here once, she's not only married to the future king, she's raising a king.
She's raising a king, and she is the father-in-law is the king. So
Exactly.
right center, she's being. What can I say?
Well, you would never, Meghan could never apply herself to
Okay.
that weight of responsibility. It would never happen.
That huge sense of responsibility. Meghan Markle can't cope with that. She would
No.
never even last in a position that Catherine is in as the Princess of Wales for a day. She would never. Because if she couldn't survive in there for for more than 6 months, just being the Duchess of Sussex. Okay, so this role is a minor. It's not. I mean, you can't compare it to the Princess of Wales, Prince and
Mm.
Princess of Wales. These are kings and queens in waiting. We are talking about here. Okay, and these are the two people who are, this next senior to when the king and queen are not there. Okay, so they have a huge responsibility. Let alone the responsibility they have of raising young George, who is going to be a fantastic king when he grows. Because see how humble George is. See how he is very poised, composed. This young man wearing a suit and tie, looking very, very honorable. Every time he steps out with his parents, whether to watch football or to go and escort his mom to the tennis, US Open or whatever, Wimbledon Open championships, King George is going to be those who are going to be there when he becomes
Well,
are going to be
we
very lucky
well we
because
saw we
George,
saw him with his
yeah,
mother at the football,
yeah,
and you could see he's close to his mother. That's a really good sign. It's a
yeah.
really good sign.
These kids are raised
Yeah.
very respectfully of elders, people. Just look at them when they are out and about in Windsor. When they're out and about up in Balmoral. And at St. Margaret's Church, where they usually go and attend the Christmas service in the morning, see how they behave when they are picking up flowers from the well wishers, and they take time to stand there and listen into conversations, standing there with their hands wrapped up, just like you see Prince William likes to stand up when he's
Mm.
talking to people. Okay, so these are the type of kids that William and Catherine are raising. Very, very adorable, respectful young royals who are going to be future kings and queens. Charlotte is going to be the Princess Royal, and she's going to be the next
Yes.
Princess Royal. This is again a huge role for Charlotte. And really, Catherine, Princess of Wales, has positioned these young kids to growing up perfectly in those future roles. The beauty of that is that we as royalists have watched these children grow right from zero to where they are now. We relate perfectly to them. We can tell those sweet little stories of how Charlotte threw tantrums when they first visited Canada, and she sat down, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, gets her up and carries her onto that plane. We have memories of Louis throwing tantrums on the balcony for the king, for the queen's platinum jubilee, and all of those beautiful royal memories. Okay, this is so beautiful to watch. And who is doing all of this? Catherine, Princess of Wales.
Yeah.
Allah,
Well, she's the one. She's
she's
the
the one
center of
allowing
the
us.
home.
Exactly. She's allowing us to see these kids grow up into those beautiful, responsible royals. This is something we are not getting from Harry and Meghan Markle. Okay, and this is what perturbs people, because if you're raising young kids who are in the line of succession, these people have a right to see, to follow through the development and growth of these children, because who knows how things might pan out and they end up, being kings and queens, those kids. Okay, so that is the number one reason why people love Catherine, Princess of Wales, why they relate with the Prince and Princess of Wales, their children, and that is why we are all very optimistic about the future of the British royal family. Okay, we are looking at the future through the lens of Catherine, Princess of Wales, Prince William, and their children. Okay, and so is being a royalist and a monarchist the same meaning? I think so. Catherine, what do you think?
Oh, I think so. I think. there is a distinction. I think culturally, well, hang on, let's talk about constitutionally. A monarchist, I call myself a constitutional monarchist, and
Mm,
when you look at it that way, it's easier to adjust to changes that may not be in keeping with your own positions about things.
mm,
So, constitutional monarchist believes in the role of government and a monarchy working together, and that the government represents the
mm,
monarchy and the crown speaks for the government, because we see the king in the parliament when they or previously the queen herself, Queen Elizabeth, we see them giving a speech. Well, the speech is usually written by the government in that case, right?
yeah. Mm,
And I think a lot of royalists sit in that camp as well. But you've also got a lot of royalists in America, and
yeah.
they're Republicans. They don't have a constitutional monarchy, but it's important that we understand all they did was break from, they didn't want to pay taxes to the king. So they had a war, they went to war with the king, and they set up a republic. And in what they did is basically copied the crown, they basically copied the monarchy and the parliamentary system. That's what they
Mm,
did. It's basically a mirror image. That's why it was such a successful war. They succeeded because they didn't change anything. They
mm,
succeeded. It was a revolution without it being a revolution.
yes.
So that's what a monarchy, that's why you've got royalists over in America
Mm.
as but we call ourselves in the Commonwealth, and that includes Britain, the UK, we call
Monarchist.
ourselves monarchists.
Monarchists, yeah, because
Yes,
you
yes,
like the idea of having a monarchy, and
yes,
if you like that idea, then you are a great fan of the royal family because a
yeah,
monarchist sits well under the royal family, and as a royalist, you love the royal family as a whole, including the king or the monarch, whichever they are at the time. And as royalists, that is why, regardless of how they accuse the monarch, or criticize them, as royalists who want to see the royal family go on and stay for as long as it can, we continue supporting the monarch
yes,
regardless.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we all have our opinions, and
mm,
you know what they say about opinions. They're like
yeah,
bum holes. Everyone has one, right?
yeah,
So opinions are cheap. But I think when you've got convictions about, and I worked in government, I worked in the New South Wales Parliament as
yeah.
a press secretary in the New South Wales Upper House,
Mm,
and that was when um, the Nick Greiner was premier. But then I went on to work in the federal parliament, and that was when I worked for a previous state member who was John Fay, and he was the finance minister, and I was the press secretary for, yeah, one of a couple of press secretaries for him at that time. So I've got a real grasp of, and that was also when the when they had the vote that they wanted to break from Britain, they wanted to break from the UK and become a republic. And my boss was leading that charge, John Fay, the finance minister at the time, and he was really angry with me when he asked me, and I said no. Said, I'm not voting for a republic. I said, you don't even know what model you want. Yeah, he was really angry with me,
mm,
but he
mm,
appreciated, because he appreciated my honesty. So see, but then you've got royal fans, And the royal fans, unlike royalists like the Americans, royal fans are culturally, they've got their favorite royal that they follow, and and a lot of them follow Harry and Meghan. A lot of them
Mm.
are just nobodies. You've got the Sussex squad who trash the royal family
Yes.
without any recognition of the fact that they wouldn't have what they have if it wasn't for the royal family. So you can't cut down the tree,
Mm.
the oak tree, and still be part of the oak tree if you're cutting it down. So
Yeah.
all they've got are basically quasi royal fans, they're not
Mm.
even royalists.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's really important we understand some of those distinctions, particularly when it
Distinction.
comes to the constitutional monarchy.
Oh yes, yes, and
Yeah,
so much for raising that. Was it Aspi who asked that question?
I think I
Is
thought it
it
was a good
Aspi?
question.
Oh, it was a very good question. Thank you so much for
Mm,
raising it. We've got such an insightful bunch of uh, friends in these comment sections here. Thank you so much, guys. We truly appreciate your presence. So, it is very, very absurd that, Meghan and Harry took the path they did. And as royalists, as people who support the monarch and want to see this monarchy go on because we see it as the only avenue for peace, for stability, for hope. That's why we constantly call out Meghan, call out Prince Harry for their activities that are not painting a good image of the royal family when they should actually be supporting the monarch and supporting the royal family in moving forward with this fantastic agenda of supporting communities in the world, extending, gratitude and leading these patronages and charities and creating awareness for the work that charities do because the community needs charities like those. And we very much know how the government is not really um, invested in supporting most of these charities. Okay,
mm, mm,
so it's the royal family that is paying more attention to the charities and people like us who are donating to these charities every year. That's why on your bank statement or mine, you when you look at it, you see that there is a small donation going to cancer research. There's a small donation I'm donating to the RSPCA. This is the animal charity. All of these charities that are doing great work for local communities. It is we people as individuals who are supporting them more than the government does. And really, when you look at the royal family, this is what they are doing, highlighting the great work of charities that are making a real difference in people's lives every day. It is the reason we want them to stay so they can carry on with that work. But going back to our dear Catherine, Princess of Wales, I don't think we shall have a royal like her in a long time.
mm, mm,
And I know we have other royals who are graceful, beautiful, like uh, Prince Edward's wife, Sophie. Okay, she's also Grace. But of course, we know that Catherine, Princess of Wales, is somehow because she is, married to the future king, she is always going to be that sort of spotlight. Okay, so we are very excited. We are very lucky to have Catherine, and I can't say just how much Francis Page Media and Catherine, your channel, how we are so excited, very glad to be having this woman that we can always speak about and highlight. And you, our dear friends in the comments section here, very much how Catherine, Princess of Wales, is such a treasure to the royal family. Hmm.
Oh, well, I mean, Harry and Meghan are an embarrassment. They're worse than an embarrassment. They're just, I actually am worried about Harry. I don't know what his future holds because in that eighth episode of her, whatever that thing was on Netflix, that, with Love Meghan,
With love, mate.
um, yeah, he looked disengaged. He looked disinterested. It was all performative, giving her a kiss on the forehead. She had him there for all of a couple of minutes, and he was at a charity for firefighters in LA over the weekend. He was seen on his own. He's just a lonely figure now, and that's what he would have been doing at home. He would have been going off to a charity like that in the UK. That's his wheelhouse.
Hmm.
But he's just her handbag now.
Yeah.
And when he's not with her, he just looks like this isolated, lonely figure because he's out of his yeah, they took a tree and they tried to plant it over in California. It's not a native of California. It's not a native of North America. That tree was a native of the UK with different
Hmm.
climate, with different nutrients, with
Hmm.
different root system, and there was no way he was going to survive. And I tell you, I was thinking about Harry this morning. I'm not happy with Harry. I don't like the guy terribly, but I wouldn't like to see him be completely destroyed. That would be so hard on everyone. But he hasn't got a good future up ahead, Francis.
Hmm.
And it's because he's not, he's a tree they've tried to transplant somewhere else, and he's not doing well.
He's allowed himself to be in a position
Yes.
like that. Okay, because he was in the royal family here, and he was really set up for greatness. He was lined up behind charities as a patron. Charities he really believed in, he loved. He had served in the military, and he had that opportunity to become the um, the Colonel in Chief of regiments here, including the Royal Marines. And, he was, the patron for the Rugby Union. He was really well set to take on responsibilities that were going to help him grow up as a real gentleman who is making a difference for communities out there. And he threw all of that away just for this girl he got overexcited about within the 3 weeks. He didn't have that sense of judgment of what is this I'm getting myself in. Have I really researched or taken time to understand what this woman is made of? He allowed himself to be in this position, and now that it's too far, he can't pull out. He's just caught up in it. He's just making us believe, to me, how I see it, that he's very happy in it. But like you have said, I don't think he is at all. And someone made a comment recently after watching Meghan Markle's um, food show, Netflix show, and say that Prince Harry really has become a spare in Meghan Markle's sort of business adventures. He only appeared for how many seconds? 8, 9, 10 seconds in the last episode
Yeah.
of Meghan Markle's cooking
Yeah.
show. Now, this is her husband who would have been right, left, center in this show. This would have been the opportunity for him to show us how they behave in the kitchen, how they share responsibilities, cook, they learn together, share insights in their daily life together. she chooses to kick him on one side. It's me, it's my show, it's my business. Who does that if they are really. Uh, uh,
Who does that to their husband? Who couldn't she have another woman? Another woman would have made his special dish in one of the episodes.
uh,
Would have said, "This is Harry loves this. We're going to. I would love to share this recipe with you." And no, 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 just a few minutes at the end of the show, and while
End of
she's
the show.
hosting herself.
Exactly.
It's
And
really awful to witness. It's so abusive. There is no overstating how abusive she is, because it's this passive aggressive whipping of him in
mm,
public. She just whips him and, treats him. You would never see Catherine treat William like that. They honor and respect each other, but not
oh yeah.
these two. But
Well,
he
look at.
allows it. You said it. You said it at the beginning when we got back on this subject. You said, but he's allowed it.
He's allowed it, and now that he's sat in it, it's gone too far. He can't get out of it. He's going to get himself entangled in this for a very long time. And the problem with this as well is that he doesn't want to show the world that he made a big mistake, because if he does, everybody will say, "Look, we told him. This. We knew this is where things were going to end." And so he's going to carry himself with this sort of ego. Okay, it's going to eat him up, completely eat him up. And his brother, of course, we learned through those publications that uh, the reason they fell out with his brother was because his brother told him, "Why the rush? Why don't you take your time to fully understand what this woman is and who she is? Don't rush into this marriage thing." Did he listen? Oh boy, he didn't. And so this is what we are seeing happening with them. But looking at what is going on with him becoming a spare, and Meghan Markle fronting out projects and sidelining him, it is making me really come to understand that whatever was said a few years ago, well, last year, that these two are starting to uh, go separate ways professionally, so they are establishing their own brands, independent of each other. Uh, I think it's true on many grounds, because this is what we are seeing. I think Meghan is now starting to figure out how to walk her way, how to start her own thing to become big as just Meghan. But she will struggle, because if she wants to do that and still wants to use the royal title as Duchess of Sussex, like she tells us she wants to be called, she's not building a brand of her own. She's still using Harry. She's still playing
That's
with the royal.
exactly right.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
so
I
she's
mean,
just
that
lying
nonsense in
herself.
episode
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
go on.
She's lying herself.
Go on.
She's
I'm sorry. There's a lag. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Hey, our dear friends, we haven't forgotten you. Sam has joined us as well. Free speech, hi. Joe has been here. Is Tedman still on? Free speech, how have you been? I mean, Catherine, free speech wasn't on last two lives. So
No, no, we
here,
missed you last, but I
yeah.
saw a comment
Joe
from
was on.
her.
Yes.
Um, I saw a comment on one of my posts, and
Mm.
I was cleaning it up before our live. I'd
Mm.
love to catch up with free speech, because we live in the same state. We're not that far. It's only, bus trip or something, a rail and a bus trip away. I'd love
Mm.
to catch up with free speech. But,
Yeah,
I think that Lisa said, I think it was Lisa, she said, if
Lisa.
he continues on the drugs, it's going to be a sad end for him.
Mm. Mm. It will, without any doubt, without. Okay, and he says this openly, didn't he, in his book. Now I don't know where the visa things have got to, but the last time we had was that that charity, the Heritage Foundation, was really, really on the case for the government to resurrect that visa application case. And they said they were going to release sections of his application, but there are still some elements of the application that were protected. So to me, it looks like there was some lying somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because you just can't. We know you can't put a book out like Spare and,
Mm,
you know, like a confessional. That's the word I was
mm,
looking for. A total confessional about all his misdeeds, and then not have your opponents and critics come in and say, "Well, what about this?" But you're on a US visa. You have to admit to it. I mean, other people, famous celebrities, haven't been allowed in because they're known drug users, even if it's
mm,
only recreational. And
mm.
I mean, I just don't know how his ghostwriter let a lot of that stuff go through. Even Meghan, you would think she would know better. Like he had no advice on that book whatsoever, and he's got to live with it. It's just damning him. It's just beating him over the head. It's going to beat him over the head until the grave. His
Mm.
mistakes are. He's never going to escape his stupid mistakes.
It is only going to be a matter of time. All of these things
Mm,
will be catching up with Harry, and this is why it is important for him now to start um, getting himself together to reflect on his path. Okay, to start reflecting on how he goes ahead with, you know, with taking advice, because as it looks, he is somebody who is just being misled. And we know that one blind man cannot lead another. Okay. But it seems like it is the case. He's being led by Meghan Markle because of her, you know, aggressiveness for wealth, money, fame, and all of that stuff. So she keeps sort of dragging him into things. Do this, do that. This is not going to help him in the long run. Okay. So when he turned 40 the other day, we all thought, he was going to take a step back and start reflecting on his own path as Harry. We haven't seen that so far. Okay. But
Well,
yeah.
no, he's
The-
just.
mm,
I thought there was hope. I thought there was a ray of hope at that time when he was going it alone. I thought, oh, we
mm,
might see something shift here. But I don't think. I'm not feeling hopeful. That's all I can say. I am hoping for the best. I'm praying
yeah.
for the best, you
Yeah.
know, but
He
I'm
he he
expecting
at
the
one
worst.
time.
I hate to admit it.
Yeah. One thing we know is that he can't come back and serve with the
Mm,
royal
mm.
family. He can't, because I think the Queen made it very clear that once you go, you've gone. We won't have this one step in, one step out. Okay, once you go, you're gone. So the Queen made it very, very clear. But also that trust has since been lost. He can't be
Yes,
trusted. None of
yes.
them can be. And this is where he's probably stuck. He knows he can't come back here. So what is he going to do? So he better he better get stuck in with hope that they can work out something with Meghan. But it's all very painful for him, isn't it? Because he had the potential to be a very an extremely happy man back here. But obviously, he lost that sister he always told us he never had, in Catherine, Princess of Wales. She really, really liked the best for Prince Harry. And Catherine must have been deeply hurt by their actions when they left the Oprah Winfrey interviews, accusing her of this and releasing all these sensitive conversations that did not paint a good image of any of those senior royals, William, Catherine, the King, Camilla. Catherine must have been deeply hurt. Okay. And of course, we saw that infamous video of, they called it the Fab Four meeting up again on the Queen Elizabeth's funeral when they did the Windsor Castle walkabout wearing the black dresses. Remember, Catherine stood on one side, Meghan on the other side, and you saw that look and the sort of uncomfort that was there between the two ladies, Catherine and Meghan. It was very telling of the situation there is between those two. And on that day, I actually saw a real Catherine when she is really upset with somebody. Okay.
That stare she gave Meghan just shrunk. Who
Yeah.
would have thought we would see that from Catherine? Meghan just shrunk into herself, and I think she sort of involuntarily put up an arm, like an arm block.
Mm,
And what I found extraordinary was when they were looking at the flowers, Meghan's body language. She was following William and Catherine. She was trying to get close to William. I mean, she's really pathetic. She has
mm,
such a unusually she's got absolutely no self-awareness. It would never occur to her what that would look like and how she gives fuel to her
mm,
critics. She
mm,
throws fuel on the fire,
mm,
and she's got no idea what that would have looked like to her critics, and that they're going to pounce on that. I
mm.
just I don't understand her sometimes. That's why I just really feel she really is mentally unstable. There's nothing there. There's nothing there with her. Not Netflix. South
But
Park, when
yes.
Harry looked inside, he lifted up her head and looked inside. There really is nothing there. There really is nothing inside this woman, because she doesn't know who she is. She's got
Yeah.
no authenticity, no sense of self. She's always I mean, even her latest podcast, Confessions of a Founder, she's copied that from someone else.
Yes.
Um, nothing. There is nothing there. But she's a very dangerous woman, and Harry's discovering this now in the
Mm.
worst possible way, because you said it, he's not going to be able to escape from that spider's web.
It's gonna be very difficult. Very difficult. Now, Lisa asks a very good question here. Who came up with the name the Fab Four? That was the media, isn't it? It is the media coming up with this.
Was it the media or was it the palace?
So the media called them the Fab Four. So
So it was
obviously,
it was the media.
so the media can crown it, can come up with all sorts. But it was a very fitting name at the time because remember when Meghan had first arrived, everybody thought this is actually going to be great. So, she's bringing something different, to the royal family. This is embracing diversity within the royal family. Everybody was excited, especially as she came across as this woman as well who was learned, who was also advocating for women, power, strength, and
Yeah.
all of that sort of thing. But she wasn't exactly that. She had her own mission. So this Fab Four idea was very short lived, and then it went back to very short lived. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I remember now. The Beatles were called the Fab Four. One of the
Yes.
girls here said that.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Joy.
They could have been fabulous. They could have been absolutely fabulous. The YouGov poll in the United States polls the royals, and who are the who of the Americans who are their favourites, and they've got deceased royals in there as well, and Diana is up there, right up there. But what
Mm,
surprises me is you've got Catherine and William are winning. They've got the late Queen up there as well. But they've got William and Catherine, but Harry's not far behind them in
mm,
America. Harry is, they like him in America. In the UK, they just can't abide him. But Meghan Markle is way down there with Andrew, and as is Camilla and the King. They're all down. But the Americans, Harry is up there, not far behind Catherine and William in a
mm,
YouGov poll.
mm.
It's
And I
incredible.
think it is, I think, down to the fact that uh, they have realized, the Americans have realized that he was just being led on this path. He was, okay? And he has tried, on some occasions to reach out to, he still shows that he wants to come back, even if, he hasn't done very much in terms of helping himself, because if he really wants to come back, um, he would have recalled Spare. Okay, he would have recalled Spare. He would have, you know, he would have not gone ahead with publishing the paperback version of that book, because in so doing, it was more like he was agreeing with what he put out there in the first version of Spare. So if he really wanted to come back, he would have denounced all of those publications and say, I was misled on a path. I did this at the time I was not in the right frame of mind. But he didn't. If he wants to come back, um, he would bring those kids of theirs to come and see, you know, King Charles, their grandfather. Okay, he wouldn't have denied those kids the opportunity to come back and connect with their niece, nephews, and all of that sort of thing. So his behavior is not telling a story of somebody who appreciates his roots, his heritage here in the royal family, and the good things that the royal family has done for them.
Well,
Okay.
because he's become a useful idiot, Harry.
Mm,
Everyone
mm,
uses him. Everyone, his lawyers use him. They make a killing off him. Um, his ghostwriter didn't do him any favors calling the book Spare. I felt that was a real. I thought, why would you call your book Spare? Yes, we understand the concept of spare, but you're just sort of like destroying your own credibility, that you're never going to rise above that. You're never
mm,
going to rise above being seen by someone else. He even said in his book that, you know, um, the spare is also seen as someone who will donate their organs or blood when the heir to the throne is sick. What a sick thing to say. I don't
mm,
believe that. I don't believe that at all. That is so sick. But he will. The thing is, now Spare is being weaponized against him by calling him Meghan's Spare. So
mm.
he went from being a royal spare to Meghan's Spare. So I mean, he's just seen as that's what surprises me, because that YouGov poll in the United States was only late November last year. We're in early March,
Yes.
and his standing with the Americans. Like I said, they've got Princess Diana up there very high. Catherine and William are killing it, and Harry's just not far behind them.
Well,
So
that's what
I
Aspie
just,
says. That's what Aspie
yeah,
says here. That in the US, they just sympathize with him and look at him as that young boy who they saw many years ago walking behind his mother's coffin. So they have that sympathy for him, and most of them actually, I think, just feel sorry for him and still think that he would have been better, okay, had he stayed with his family back here in the UK. So, but these polls usually also reflect, they send out a subtle message that, Harry,
Yes.
listen, we still like you. Change, go back to the Harry we used to know. We prefer you with how you looked before you are looking now. Okay, so this is a wake up call for Harry to change and get back into people's good books fully by doing things that embrace his royal family back here, his heritage. Okay, and that's why we see his wife Meghan Markle really down there. So hurry up
Well,
here.
she's down
Yeah,
there with Prince
yeah,
Andrew.
exactly. So people are more like saying, Harry, we like you as Harry, but if you're together with her, we don't like her. She should stay down there. And people don't hate Meghan. They don't. It's not like they don't like her. They are just constantly, sick and tired of her projects not being considerate, not being grateful, not you know they are just literally sharing constructive criticism, hoping that one day she will start to actually realize that the path she took Harry on is not the path that he would have wanted. That's all it is. But also because of her disrespect for the royal family and that very, very rubbish courtesy mocking of the Queen. People
Oh,
loved the Queen so much. I think that was the last nail.
yeah.
Okay, that was the last nail in that coffin when she mocked the Queen in the way that she did. And her constant lies, of course. I didn't know who Harry was until I married into the royal family. And then it so turns out she was researching many, many years ago about Prince Harry. I mean, about Princess Diana. She had traveled to London with a friend and took that photograph in front of the gates of Buckingham Palace. So these were all lies, and people are just so sick and tired of all of these things. Now, that is why her podcast, Archetypes, did not sell as well, because she was starting this podcast to tell stories of her life, shared, with other celebrities she was going to host. But people didn't buy into those podcasts because they simply saw her as a liar, liar, liar. She didn't connect with her audience at all. And so that's why she got those very, very huge negative reviews. Now, she has told us there is another podcast coming up for her on 8th of April. I don't know if you've heard about that, Catherine.
I have, yes, I have
Okay.
actually. Well, I
Mm.
mean, what does she want to achieve, you know?
And she's going
I,
to say that the podcast
what,
is.
like, I
It,
mean, honestly, I can't stand it.
yeah.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it. When I read that headline, I thought,
Yeah.
oh, more drivel,
Oh, yeah.
more drivel. Oh,
Stedman,
it's,
Stedman is leaving us.
oh,
Uh,
Stedman, bye bye, my
yes.
darling. See you
See
soon.
you soon, Stedman. Thank you so much for being here and your support. We'll catch up again very soon, Stedman. We shall be
Yes,
on.
lovely to see
Okay.
you.
Yes, we shall be on again on Sunday somewhere. So
Yeah.
we'll hope to catch up with you again, Stedman. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. And every single one of us here, Sam, Joe, thank you, Aspi, Free Speech, Lisa, thank you guys. Thank you so, so much. We had Who else did we have on here? Vicky Wallace, live from Texas. So,
Mm.
Vicky, I hope you managed to catch up one day. But yes, that's what we have with in Harry and Meghan, ex-royals who are going to be going round in circles with their projects with no real breakthrough, simply because the public cannot give them their full support. They can't. They've given up on them ever since they decided to take that approach they took against the royal family. Okay, so I was talking about Meghan Markle's upcoming podcast series to be released on 8th of April. Apparently, she went on her Instagram and advertised it, and she's telling us it's going to be huge, very, very huge. And I don't think it will, because she had that opportunity with Spotify, the world's largest podcaster, okay?
Yes.
And she blew that away. She failed to work with the teams at Spotify to make it work, and she lost that deal. And so I can't see her. I can't see her ever breaking through in the world of podcasts, okay, on her own. She's telling us that this time round, what has she called it? Confessions of a Founder, something like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I think I'll tell you what my reading of that is. She knows whether I mean whether she'll ever admit it or not, it's highly unlikely, but she knows that she's getting a lot of criticism and she's flopped. And the problem is she hasn't got any product. She's supposed to have a product line and supposed to go into some Netflix stores, but there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So
Hmm.
I believe that she's come up with this now as a response to her critics. The Confessions of a Founder, I think it's called, and um, she's just going to go on there and she will have a couple of guests like the same model as Archewell and like the archetypes. And she will then draw the subject back to herself and she used herself as an example. Oh, and then the public responded like this towards me without realizing all the hard work I put into this, all the hard work I put into boiling that spaghetti on the stove for my friend Daniel. It's going to be that kind of thing. It's going to be all about her, and, and she'll be rebuffing her critics. That's what it is. It's nothing more than that. And she's stolen it from someone else. I
Yes.
can't believe she still does that. Can you
She
believe it?
I can't believe she's stealing these ideas. She's plagiarizing. Everybody is threatening to sue her for stealing their ideas. The cooking show has so many elements of Pamela Anderson. These podcast series she's intending to do are all ideas that have already been people's ideas, and it's more like she wants to start something like Ellen DeGeneres, the DeGeneres, and interviewing women who have founded their businesses successfully and getting them to share their stories. But she's just gonna use these women to rise to the top. She's gonna use them for her own, benefit, because we know when she is interviewing these women, somehow she makes it about her, you know. So she will end up probably probably annoying her first interviewing.
Oh,
Yeah, and this will
yeah.
be it. Okay.
And you can be sure one subject she will address is
Yeah.
her name is Sussex. She will bring that up
She'll
in a
bring that up.
podcast. You can be
Yes.
sure of it. You can
Oh
be
yes.
sure that each one of those episodes, there'll probably be 8 episodes, who knows, but
Yeah.
I'm just you know speculating there'll be 8 episodes of her first season, and she will address in each one of those episodes something that she got slammed for in each one of those episodes. That's what it will be all about. There's nothing
Yeah,
original here, there's nothing creative or imaginative, and I mean, she's such a victim. Oh, people don't realize I broke a nail when I opened up that bag of pretzels for my friend Daniel. I broke a nail. Oh, it's going to be something so lame and so pathetic. I'm just, I'm speaking metaphorically, but it will be all of this lame victimhood. It will be just, it's just who wants to be a perpetual victim? I mean, it really is addictive. It's an addiction for these two.
yeah, it is.
It's
It
just
is. Now,
awful.
so, Joe tells us, please don't watch her podcast. The reason her latest show got so many views was due to you great YouTubers watching to save us from watching. But we wouldn't watch anyway. Okay, so I actually didn't even
Yes.
did I even talk about her cooking thing? I didn't. And the reason, Catherine, I think you reviewed her cooking show, is because you really wanted to see how far she was gonna go with this, and you were very right, very very right. But she will not have our attention. No chance. No chance.
No. Well, she
No
she
chance.
lost
Hmm.
she lost my after episode 2. I was, like I said in our last show, I was really, I was very engaged. I was taking notes. But then I just got up and started painting, bookcase, and so I had, the other episodes going on in the background, and I was listening and watching, and then I sat down for the last episode. But the point is, it's. I remember listening to a Dan Wooden episode, and um, there was that something interview or something or other that was on, and Angela Levin, she fell asleep. She said, "Oh, I
Yeah.
fell asleep." She was really genuine. Fell asleep. It was so mind numbing. Well, that was the only way I could cope. The only
Yeah.
way I could
Yeah.
cope was to get up and be physically active and
Yeah.
sanding the bookcase and painting it. It's the only way I could
Yeah.
cope. It's
Yeah.
so bad. It's so bad. And the
Right.
podcast, I'm
So,
not going to be tuning in.
mm,
You've got the best of me. I'm not tuning in for that bloody thing.
oh, no chance. No chance. But she is going to go round in circles. And the problem with why she's not progressing meaningfully, apart from the fact that royalists, we people who thought she was going to be, you know, doing great things for the royal family. The day she left and painted this black image of the royal family out there, throwing everybody under the bus, we sort of lost support for her. We will never rally behind her projects. But instead we shall critique them until she realizes that, listen, you just don't think you do things like that and you think people are gonna forget and go away, and without you actually coming to apologize and be grateful and for your mistakes, and you own them, and because she thinks she did whatever she did and she's got nobody to to sort of, well, you see how Prince Harry keeps saying, "You need to apologize to my wife." He tells the royal family, "Apologize to my wife." You did. So they still have this feeling that it is the royal family that needs to apologize to them for what they did. And really, until they realize that it's the other way around, they are not going to be moving forward in any meaningful
Mm,
ways. Okay.
mm.
So
You're
I
right,
am them
Francis.
going round in circles. She's gonna try this podcast. She will do one, two, three, yeah, and she will see the ratings really terrible. you know, and she'll abandon that. But she keeps hopping from one project to the other. Before this is finished, she senses that this is going to go nowhere, and she abandons that and jumps onto something else. This is how she's going to be continuing until they go back to the drawing board and say, listen, I think for long we have been running away from the fact that we have been horrible to to so many people, to the royal family. We need to get back to people's good books. We need to apologize. So Sam says, I had the thought, Lisa, wild thought that perhaps Charles is paying Netflix to keep them out of his hair. That is interesting, actually. I heard
I heard something
I
similar.
heard for some weird reason that King Charles wanted Meghan Markle's Netflix thing to be successful. And the reason for that is because apparently the successful they get, the more he's got a peace of mind that they can now go and just leave us alone and live their life. Because I still think somewhere, somehow, they are getting some funding. Harry's
I agree.
somewhere, somehow, I still think there is some money coming from
Yeah.
this side.
I
Okay.
agree with that. I don't
Yeah,
believe that his
don't
support has
believe.
completely dried up. I don't believe
Mm,
that it has.
mm.
You're right, Francis. I'm in agreement with you on that.
Somehow, I know if it's happening,
And who could
the
blame them?
responsibility. You don't blame it because it's
Yeah.
his father. He wants his son to
Mm,
not to go on the streets and beg. Okay,
mm.
but what is painful for us is the fact that they are getting this sort of support, but still whinging, still dragging um, His Majesty, the King's government, to court for silly things like security and blah, 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 blah. You know, he's lost his, you said, he, so we will see. Yes. But anyway, guys, I think we've been on here long enough. Just
Yeah,
want to
it's
shout
been
out
great.
as well. Yeah, just want to shout out as well that
Yeah.
our channel got back its memberships and the stickers, the super thanks stickers are back up and running now as normal. So, thank you so much, guys, for the support.
Oh, so
Yes.
that's why I keep getting, because I didn't know how you were doing it. Every now and again, I see you got a love sticker from Francis Page Media, and I think, how is he doing that? Oh, that's because you're monetized. You've
Yes,
got that.
yes, yes. So I've
Yeah.
got that. Yeah. So the stickers are back, and the channel memberships. So it is now back up and running for any teas or support. They can now be posted directly on the channel through that sign.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm so
Yeah.
grateful, guys. Thank you so much. But you, Catherine, as well. You are the backbone of this channel. Your thoughts are so incredibly appreciated, and your time. And so are you all in the comment section here. Because without you, Catherine, we wouldn't be here for an hour plus talking, would we? If we.
Oh, it's easier when you've got someone else, I think, to bounce ideas off,
Yes,
and
yeah,
and that
absolutely.
was, yeah, and then you can have a giggle, and you don't take yourself terribly seriously when it's two of you.
Yeah.
I like that. I think we've got a good energy.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Hi, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Aspi. Thank you, guys, everybody, for your support. And we hope
Thank
you're going
you.
to have a fantastic weekend. You will see us
Yes.
again very soon. We
Yeah.
could show up again on Sunday. Let's see how Catherine fails.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm up for that. I'm
Y-
around.
yes. Please subscribe to,
Thank you, free speech.
thank you, free speech. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please subscribe to Catherine's channel if you're not yet, or check if you're still subscribed, because YouTube has a way of unsubscribing people. So check that
Yeah.
you subscribe. We would like to have your support all the time. We love you so much, every single one of you. Catherine, it's St. Patrick's Day on
I
Monday.
know. Yay.
So Catherine, Princess of Wales, is going to be traveling to the Welsh, to the to the Irish Guards Regiment uh, in Aldershot, Mons Barracks on Monday, and she will be giving out shamrocks to the Irish Guardsmen as the
Oh,
canon chief
nice.
of the regiment. So that is nice. We are so excited. We don't know
Yes,
what she's
yes.
going to be wearing, whether she'll be wearing her green. Of course, it is the color of the St. Patrick's Day. So look out for that engagement, my dear friends. Catherine will be stepping out on Monday for the St. Patrick's Day in Aldershot. Prince William will be traveling, I think, next week as well. Around Thursday, we'll be traveling to Estonia to visit
Estonia. Mm,
Estonia,
mm.
yeah, to visit the Martian Regiment. This is one of the British regiments who are out there on a training exercise, and we know that Prince William is their chief or colonel in chief of the regiment. So he's literally visiting them to see how they are getting on with their exercise, to learn about the challenges on exercise. We might see him go down the range and, point that I want to mention its name and try and, get to hit the targets, just to sort of motivate the troops a little bit out there. And because that is what a Colonel in Chief does, check in on their
Yeah.
regiment and support them whether they are here or out on exercise. Thank you so much, Lily. Thank you for that sticker. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And thank you for joining us. You've joined quite late. We are soon finishing. We hope that you're looking very much forward to the weekend. Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
we will probably catch up with our friends again on Sunday. Catherine, what do you think?
Yes. Oh,
Mm,
yes, I'm available. Yeah, I'm
mm.
just today was a nice surprise. It's lovely to be spontaneous, and
Yes.
yeah, lots
Yeah.
of good comments in the chat. It was really
Yes.
great.
Yes, and we have a fantastic team
Mm,
of you
mm.
know followers, and they are very knowledgeable about these
Yes.
subjects. You can see the knowledge in the comments and their device, and you could write a book out of the tips and advice that our friends in the comments
Yes.
write down in the comments section. So where would we be without you all?
Mm.
Catherine, we need to get you do a live stream on your channel and you
Oh,
host.
how did I know you were going to bring that up? I thought to
Yeah.
myself earlier, I thought, you better not, because you mentioned it early on. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh God, I just got a feeling he's going to bring it up. You got to do a live.
Yeah.
I will. I will. I'm still not 100% comfortable doing this.
Yeah.
I come and go because I just
Yeah.
think, oh, what am I doing? I don't really have anything interesting to say. You just get all sort of like full of self-loathing. It's really
Yeah.
stupid. But I
Yeah.
just knew, how did I know? See, we're in sync. I will
Yes.
think about it and get back to you. I'll think
Please
about it.
do. Yeah. So I'll be traveling to London as well, Catherine, for
Okay.
I should have gone to the St. Patrick's Day event just to cheer up Catherine, well, on her arrival. I'm not sure whether
Yes.
she's going to be there with her
Oh,
husband, Prince
nice.
William, But because William is going to be going away to Estonia, I think he will want to rest a little bit. So he might sit out the St. Patrick's one and let Catherine go because she's
Yes.
the in chief for the Irish Guard. So it is Catherine's event. Um, but I would have loved to go and cheer Catherine on in Aldershot on Monday. But it falls on a working day, and I'm going to be in work. I don't finish until 5 o'clock, so I won't be able to do the event. But I will be down for the King's birthday parade, which is also starting to come. The dates are
It's
close.
getting close. It's
Yes,
getting
so
close.
yes, absolutely. So that one I will be there and reporting live, at the mall down in London in front of Buckingham Palace. So look out for that.
We
And
will. We
yes,
will. Yeah.
yes. So I think we should end it here.
Yes, we will. Free speech. I want to connect with you. I've got your email. I'd love to connect with you. I'll come to you and we'll go and have a cup of tea or a coffee somewhere. Let's do that. It's lovely. I know because I know the suburb you're in. I'm on the north side, so I'm glad you're still here because I wanted to say something to you in the chat, and I thought, no, I'll send you an email. Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you, Francis. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed your company, everyone. Mwah.
Yes. Mwah. Take care, everybody. And we
Yeah.
catch up on Sunday again. Catherine, we
Yes,
will
yes,
coordinate
yes.
this and see what
Yeah,
we're gonna do with it. Yeah.
yeah,
But thank you
yeah.
so much, everyone, and good night, good
Good
morning,
night.
whatever time it is in those beautiful places you are in the world today.
Bye bye, Sam. See you,
Bye.
Lily.
Bye, Sam. See you, Lily. See you, everybody in the chat. We love you so much and thank you for your time today.